So let's talk about kids, little kids, babies, and social media. So first of all, I don't judge any parent who shares photos of their kids' faces on social media, or perhaps they have their kids, be part of ads, Pampers, or whatever, right? It's a personal choice, and ultimately, it's what works for their family. So there's no judgment here. It's not like if you post pictures of your kids all over the place that I'm going to be like, what's wrong with you? It's not at all. It's just, this is my stance and these are my reasons. So I don't know how many photos and videos that I have of my kids. Like, it's like every new thing that they do is like freaking Christmas, like, oh my God, he's playing with his snot, his spit bubbles. The other day he was squealing like a ton, and it's like you want to capture all those things, right? You want to capture the videos. I remember there was this video of my daughter falling asleep while she was eating, and it's so cute. Or when they first roll over, or the first time they eat a lemon, or like little things like that. You just gotta catch them all, right? Like Pokemon moments. And it's really hard not to share that excitement with the world, because you love you find it super fascinating with your kids, and the little things and the cute quirks that they do, and you want to share it with the world. I mean, we all, it's like, obviously we have a personal bias towards our kids. We always think our baby is the cutest baby in the world, should know it. So I was on the fence, honestly. It wasn't like a strong stance right away that I didn't want to post pictures of my kids on social media. I was on the fence because, I mean, at the same time, I think about like celebrities like Chrissy Teigen or Kim Kardashian, the big celebrities that do it all the time. I'm like, well, if they do it, it should be fine, right? But then again, if I always made the decisions based on what a celebrity would do, I wouldn't be here. Jumped off a bridge too. Anyway, so I sat on the fence for a while. And I reflected on my own journey with social media. So I'm a millennial, and I started playing with the internet when I was around 10 at the public library. And, looking up knock jokes on Yahoo, that was a good times, right? That was my first experience with the internet, at the public library. But I started really thinking about my own vanity and my vanity genes. The first photo I put myself on the internet was when I was around like 13 or 14 years old, and it was, I had an Asian Avenue account. Did you guys have one of those? And I really wanted to put my profile picture up. So I had this really good picture of myself. I was wearing this like shimmery purple dress, this like tube dress, and I was holding like a daisy. And when it got developed, so that was back in the day, you had film, right? And my parents developed the picture, and I was like, damn, I look good. That's the picture. That's what the Asian Avenue community, needs to see, right? That's the picture. And so, like, my parents didn't have a scanner at the time, so I had to, like, use the one at my high school. And I remember it, scanning it, at the school, and then saving it on a 3.5-inch floppy, and then taking it home to upload it to my page. And yeah, I could have just loaded it at the school, right, scanned and then uploaded it. But I'm like, oh my God, what this school tracks this stuff? Like, I'm gonna get in trouble for using the scanner for personal use. And so yeah, on Asian Avenue, like, people saw the picture, and there's like a couple, like literally, I don't know if they're spam bots or just people like saying, oh my God, you look great, right? And it was such a confidence booster, especially when you're 13 or 14, like you're a teenager, and you're like, oh my God, like online, you get these comments from people saying you look good. Anyway, so then like a few years later, my parents finally bought a scanner, and basically all hell broke loose. And I, scanning pictures left, right, and center, upload, right? And then when I went to university, I got my first digital camera. It's one of those, like, the ones that you can rotate the lens, and you can like do selfies and stuff. And then I signed up for Friendster, which is, for those who are old enough to remember Friendster, that's when I uploaded a bunch of photos, and I didn't have Xanga or MySpace, and then after time went on, and then Facebook came along, and then I got my own smartphone, it's like it just everything, right? You can just post anything and everything. And so, and as we know, like excessively posting photos of ourselves on social media has made our generation kind of narcissistic and self-obsessed. You know, seeing ourselves and getting the likes and the comments, it definitely feeds into our self-esteem. And so I have to admit, I have a history of this obsessed behavior of taking, the history. I don't do that anymore. Taking selfies in the bathroom, flexing at the gym, or like posing, in the change room in the mall with different outfits, and then just practicing with your phone in front of your face whenever you had a free moment. And then as I've gotten older, I'm in my mid-30s now. It's like, 2 kids, getting married, all that stuff. Your mentality on this whole thing changes for me, and that, when you feel good on the inside, it really gets reflected on the outside, and that it's only when, and as I've aged, that validation, the intrinsic validation that we have of ourselves and the self-approval, it really comes from ourselves rather than external extrinsic validation from others. And you really understand that the beauty and that self-confidence and self-esteem really comes from within. And it's inner beauty that really matters. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still post a selfie here and there, right? And it's just really to make sure that my readers and my audience know that I'm like flesh and blood. And of course, this video helps for you to know that I'm a real human being. But it doesn't define me. And the comments and likes are nice, and it's nice to get feedback saying I look a certain way, or maybe they'll just say I look like crap, whatever. But it's more about understanding and believing and living and breathing that your self-worth is based on how you perceive yourself. Anyway, so long story short, social media isn't going away anytime soon, but I think obviously over time, my kids, my daughter and my son will be exposed to it. It's not going away, and if I can do something while they're still young to prevent that vanity gene, that self-obsessed behavior from kicking in early, I'm gonna do it. And it's within my control. They don't obviously don't have smartphones, and they don't have cameras for themselves. But if I can do something to at least prevent it from happening too early, then I'm gonna do that. Just from my own experience and my own history of self-obsessed, selfie behavior, where your self-esteem can get really affected by the likes and the comments. Second reason, empowerment. Honestly, when I gave birth, it wasn't those like love at first sight moments. She'd been living inside of me for 9 months, and I got to know her as a fetus, what kicks and somersaults before I went to bed. But and with my son as well, you go through pregnancy, you really don't know the kid until they come out, and it's only until they meet that they're in your arms that you meet them for the first time. It's like meeting anyone for the first time, and so you really don't know who these babies are. You don't know what their personality is, what their character, their likes, their dislikes, their strengths, their weaknesses, their abilities, their capacities. There's an entire spectrum of how a person is and what their comfort levels are, and what their sense of humor is like, what our values are, what our beliefs, like all of these things when they're a baby. I mean, it's like really don't know. It's like a blank slate, and I know I have a huge role in influencing and teaching her everything about who she is. And then obviously she's going to have to do her own self-discovery as well to figure out who she is and where she stands and where my son and my daughter stand in the world. And I know that when she grows up, she'll always be a part of me, like that story by Robert Munch, always, and I love you always and forever. She'll always be a part of me, and then it's kind of an extension of who I am, like the DNA part, as well as the influence I've had throughout her childhood and adolescence, and But I don't own her identity. This is the thing: is that I absolutely do not have control or ownership over who she is. in the real world or in this digital virtual world. And so, I don't own her identity, and that's an identity that she's going to have to create. She's going to have to define. They're both going to define. I always mention she because she's the older, but they both have to define who they are in this world, where they stand, how they fit into this whole virtual community. And so once she's old enough, like once she understands what social media is, what the risks, what the benefits are, what it's about, what it means to their privacy, then, and informing her of everything, what it's about. And I'm going to empower her to decide for herself what she'd like to do and what she'd like to partake, how much she wants to share, how little she wants to share. Maybe she doesn't want to share at all and wants to be a very private person. They want to be very private people, or they might want to do what I do, or it's really up to them, and I want that choice for them to own that choice. And so the first reason is just I want to prevent this whole self-obsessed behavior that I know is in my genes, and I have a history of, very various things. And the second thing is that whole empowerment piece. I want to empower my kids to make this decision for themselves. And then the third reason, it's just my own kind of worry, wart, paranoia. It's kind of like the sci-fi warnings, but not really. Okay, so I'm usually the one that says the future is going to be fantastic. I'm like an optimistic. I always think the future is just this wonderful place, and that AI is a good thing, that machines aren't going to take over the world and they actually make us a better species, possibly attracting the attention of those stealthy extraterrestrials that that they can cross-learn from us. Maybe I'm all for that, like totally. Like Black Mirror will happen, but in that twisted, fucked up way. But rather, the technology will be there, and humanity will benefit from. I'm giving humanity the benefit of the doubt that putting faith in our moral compasses, that will be more of a gray mirror than a black mirror. But okay, so like I already said my sense. Like I'm like very optimistic about the future, but I don't know what I don't know, and I can't control what's going to happen. Like from privacy breaches to identity theft, digital kidnappings, Photoshop abuse, child predators, like all these things that I don't really know anything about. Just to be on the safe side, I would just prefer to keep my kids' faces in the dark as long as possible until they feel they're ready. And I know eventually it'll get out. Like kids generally have social media, whatever platform they use, whether it's TikTok or some funky, I don't even know what the newest social media platform is, but if or when the world comes crashing down a la Judgment Day, at least my kids won't blame me for putting them into the system involuntarily. So those are my reasons. Let me know what your reasons are, whether you put your kids' faces on social media or not. It's really personal to you. Respect all decisions. These are just my own kind of like reasons for not putting my kids' faces out there. Let me know.